On Kochie's Business Builders, a step-by-step guide to set up a new business. Also, how a hot sauce maker found success after being kicked out of the big supermarket. And how steel blue work boots climb their way to the top through innovation. Hello and welcome to another episode of Kochie's Business Builders. Today we're going back to basics using a quickie divorce. Confused? Well, let me explain. Family lawyer Siobhan Mullins had a great idea to set up an online legal business for couples who wanted literally an amicable quickie divorce. Just a genius idea, I reckon, but she underestimated all the other building blocks that are needed in getting a new venture off the ground. The planning, the marketing, regulations, technology, the list is absolutely endless. We've responded to her plea for help by sending in Michael Talovich from Nexus to point her in the right direction. It's a typical weekday for Siobhan Mullins. While it may look inviting, working from home, don't be fooled by the everyday comforts.
So there have certainly been challenges to me starting this business, firstly in terms of how to run one, because I've never run one before.
Siobhan's business, Separate Together, helps couples cut the cost of a divorce by giving them access to all the necessary legal documents and advice.
Having worked in the family law space for several years, practising in litigation, I'd seen what litigating family court matters about care arrangements for children and the division of assets was doing to couples and families, and I thought there's got to be a better way to separate.
Michael Talovich from Nexus Accountants and Business Advisors has come along to help Siobhan plan for the future.
Obviously, when you start a business, you need to be the CEO, CFO, information technology officer, marketer. So how have you found adapting to those roles?
Difficult to begin with, but I'm now in a rhythm of managing both my time for client work, business administration, and also marketing as well. That's been a big thing, and even getting my document management system up and running and drafting precedents from scratch as well.
Siobhan only started the business 4 months ago, but like any savvy owner, she's thinking about her next move.
I want my business to grow and be servicing separating couples and individuals across the entire Australia, and certainly taking on other solicitors who want flexible hours. And obviously to do that, I need to increase brand awareness about Separate Together services.
Yeah, absolutely. And it sounds like you've already taken the right steps by engaging a marketing company. One of the key things to consider when you're growing the business is to make sure that your customers know a bit about your business, that they know about you personally, and then certainly about the product and service, which in your case is quite unique. Getting those things to work together for any customer will make it easier to grow the business and grow the sales.
Coming up, Michael offers some other tips so Siobhan's business can really go gangbusters. Have you thought about upgrading your business computer system, but the cost of doing it stops you? Well, you're not alone. 450 million people worldwide still use a PC older than 5 years. But here's some interesting advice. Intel says upgrading to a new sleek system could actually save you money. That's because businesses who rely on older tech are making their staff work on slower machines, where simple things like browsing the web are laborious, multitasking between programs is nearly impossible, and some machines have trouble even starting. So, it's no surprise employee complaints become more frequent, which means you're bogged down with IT requests. Hanging on to old tech also makes you vulnerable to hackers. Research from Intel shows businesses that do upgrade their technology spend 50% less on IT maintenance. And employees are 2.5 times more productive if they're working with newer machines. Something to keep in mind next time you're logging on.
I'm Anthony McDonough, owner of men's skincare brand Liquid. There's never been a better time for small business.
If you haven't already joined our campaign for optimism, visit the KBB website for details. We'd love to hear your inspiring small business story. All right, now back to our Business Basics 101 course. This week we met Siobhan Mullins, a lawyer who's just set up her own quickie divorce business from home. Michael Talovich has some advice for Siobhan to make her online dream grow. We're at the Canberra home of lawyer Siobhan Mullins, the global headquarters for her new business, Separate Together. So far, she's done everything right, from setting up a website and putting a business plan together. But still, there's more to do to ensure long-term success.
Having been in business now for just over 4 months, there are sort of areas that I would like to learn more about and, you know, have a better understanding of. And for example, that's in part to do with cash flow and also managing tax time and my quarterly BAS.
So most commonly we get clients to set up multiple bank accounts when they start so that they've got an account set aside for those costs that creep up, superannuation, BAS costs for the GST, and the tax costs at the end of the year as well, so that they're not hit with nasty surprises later on.
At this stage, I'm using an Excel spreadsheet. Obviously, this isn't an option longer term. Do you have any suggestions for me in terms of accounting software systems?
Yes, certainly do. Similar to your business, there's a whole range of software options available that are now cloud-based. The ability to have better technology inform your business through those pieces of software are fantastic. Products like Xero, Sage Online, the ability with those to have live data about your business then assist you not only in understanding your cash flows and being able to see financially where you're up to, but also allow you to make better decisions for the business.
Siobhan works from home, so it's really important she learns to separate work from life and vice versa.
We find 3 things that keep recurring with clients as to what's keeping them up at night, the things that they stress about, and they are employees. At this stage, the only employee that you've obviously got to worry about is yourself, but moving forward, that'll be something to look forward to. The second is around sales and generating new sales and figuring out where they're going to come from. And the third, and the one that probably causes people the most stress, is around cash flow. One of the best ways to deal with that is to have an outlet. Find something obviously that you enjoy doing away from work that can take you away from those difficult moments. But realistically, it comes down to having a business plan in place and actually proactively, before it happens, planning exactly what's going to happen with each of those steps.
Michael has reminded all of us about the importance of surrounding yourself with a solid and strong team. Generating new sales is also essential, and of course, managing that cash flow. Siobhan, we wish you all the best and keep in touch. Now to our Pillars of Success segment, helping you build solid foundations for your future. Here's Roland Hannacroot from New Perspective Business Coaching.
My final pillar of success is about external support. Business owners are the most guilt-driven people on the planet. I'm often horrified when I hear how my clients berate themselves over their perceived entrepreneurial failures. You can just about see them wagging a big finger at themselves. Terrible. And the greatest failure of entrepreneurship in their eyes is having to rely on others. They think asking others for help is clear evidence that they're not cutting it as business owners. But nothing could be further from the truth. It takes a village to build a great business. One of my most successful and oldest clients has a whole team of specialist advisors around him. External support is critical for your business success and your own mental well-being. Other people can hold you accountable to your goals. They can brainstorm with you. They can support you when you stumble, and they can give you honest opinions, feedback, and advice. There are many ways to get outside support, of course. You can join a business support group, get a business coach or a mentor, start an advisory board of trusted peers, or all of the above. But whatever you do, don't think you can do it alone. You can't. I promise you.
Still to come on Kochie's Business Builders, she was banned from selling her hot sauce in Coles and Woolies because of a naughty word on the label. But Renee Bunster is still on target to make $1 million this year. Her recipe for success is next.
Hi, I'm Renee Bunster and I'm the Global President of Bunsters, and we're a food company from Perth that exports luxurious chili products all over the world. The majority of our success has been down to social media, so today I'm going to be sharing my 3 top tips on how small businesses can use social media better to promote their business. Tip number 1 is know exactly who your target audience is. Is it a busy mum in her activewear down at the supermarket talking about reality TV? Or is it a tradie who's 28 and his name's Dave and he gets to spend all of his money on beer and hot sauce? That's who my target customer is. Hi, Dave. Tip number 2, once you've worked out who your target audience is, please stop trying to sell them stuff. Stop with the 10% off sale, look at this fantastic product, prices, selling points. Stop it. Actually come up with some content that people want to engage with. Give them something that they'll like, that they'll share, that they'll comment on. And the 3rd tip, once you know who your target customer is and what sort of content they like, learn how to use Facebook advertising. It is the best marketing tool that has ever been invented. And by using Facebook advertising, you can get your product right into the face of your exact target customer. So put some time aside to learn how to use Facebook advertising. You will not regret it.
OK, now to another inspiring business success, in manufacturing this time. Steel Blue Boots first launched in 1995 after a bunch of Aussie blokes spotted a gap in the industrial footwear market. Today, the WA-based company is producing more than 1.4 million pairs of boots a year. Co-founder Ross Fitzgerald tells us why Steel Blue is not only the biggest supplier of industrial footwear, but the best.
We started back in 1995, August the 1st, 1995, and we put a bit of a plan together to start up our own safety footwear company. We were in the industry for 15 years plus before that and at another company, and we joined forces with 5 other shareholders, so there was 10 of us who started the business off at the beginning. First of all, we bought out a boot that was 50% more expensive. We worked very hard at trying to make sure that people out there, they got value for money, so even though the product was more expensive, they got something for it. That was certainly challenging to try and get end users and distributors over to our product from a price point of view, but when they knew the value, they certainly come on board, and now we're obviously 22 years later, we're a very successful business. The key to a good workplace culture is communication. We have a Legends Board, which is something that when you reach 10 years, 15 years and 20 years, their names get put on that board, and you know, people aspire to that. We'd like to put something back into the community. It started many years ago when we started making purple boots for breast cancer care, and they've benefited out of that. And we also got involved with other charities as well, including Beyond Blue. It's part of our ethos to get behind charities and support them. Our aim is to try and increase our export business outside of Australia. And so far it's been working very well for us, and we're looking forward to that being a bigger part of our business.
Don't you just love to see good old-fashioned hard yakka really pay off? Now, if you're a small business, you need to join Small Business First. It's the community fighting to get small business a better deal, saving you money. This week, Australian Unity is offering members a 7.5% discount on hospital and extras cover. Plus, you'll also receive a $200 Visa gift card. To join the community for free, go to the Small Business First website. Up next, though, our Ask Kochie segment, where you provide a question, I do my best to answer it. See you in a tick.
Mini PCs, all-in-ones, and even a PC the size of a USB key. Well, you can see that Intel-based desktops come in a vast range of shapes and sizes, catering for just about any need. So how do you even begin to choose between these different options? First, consider what you're using your desktop PC for. Do you need a lot of grunt for content creation, or do you need it to power digital signage for your shopfront? If you're after speed, power, and graphics, and something that can manage intensive applications and workloads, consider a desktop tower. An all-in-one device, on the other hand, is a sleek option combining the tower and monitor into one streamlined system. Some designs can even convert into a large touchscreen tablet so you can move it from room to room. Media and gaming desktops will give you extreme performance so you can take advantage of overclocking and Intel Turbo Boost technology. There are mini PCs which use less power than a desktop tower, so you can free up budget for other priorities without compromising on computing performance. Workstations are another desktop with a lot of grunt. These are customizable so you can configure processor, memory, integrated graphics, and storage for your needs. Intel-based models are optimized for over 15 of the most used workstation and CAD-based apps. So aside from the incredible range of styles available, from small designs such as an Intel NUC powering your PC or digital signage to a sleek, portable, all-in-one device, there are significant performance enhancements versus a 5-year-old desktop, including 31% better office productivity, 51% better web performance, and 66% better media editing. With more options than ever before, there's never been a better time to upgrade.
Welcome back. It's time for our Ask Kochie segment. Earlier this week, a freelance editor got in touch asking if her company needed a logo. Now, I usually do my best to answer your business questions, but this week we called in an expert from Snap to give some expert advice. First, though, let's hear from freelancer Julie Lacan.
Hi Kochie, my name's Julie. I'm a freelance editor and I've been working in media for quite a while now, but I just wanted to know how essential it is to have a logo for my brand.
Look, great question, Julie. I reckon logos or symbols are so fascinating, most importantly because their use dates back to ancient times, doesn't it, Raylene? And we see them in Dan Brown books and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely, that's so true. Interesting enough, they became very popular in the 1800s because of mass production, and most of the population was illiterate. So the pictures and symbols were how they were able to recognise the products that they wanted to purchase. Logos now have really become indispensable today, and if you think of some of the startups that we recognise easily by their symbol, like Apple, McDonald's, and another one, Nike. Creating a logo is really like putting a face to a name of a business, and it's really important because it speaks to the essence of a brand.
Yep, and it's funny because although logos are so crucial for brand recognition, startups sometimes skip past them out of eagerness just to get going. So it really does impact on their marketing, doesn't it?
Correct. It's right, in their eagerness of trying to get their business, they often skip over this really critical step. But they need to understand is how will their future customers know what they do, what they believe in, and what they should connect and how they would connect with their business. And if people don't understand what makes them different, then how are they going to choose that as a business? So it's such an indispensable part. Often they grab a quick do-it-yourself kind of look, so then they look a little bit amateurish, and then it looks like slapdash. Right. So it's really important to take the time to make sure you look right.
Yep. So we now know how important having a logo is. What does Julie need to think about with the design process?
Yeah, well, there's quite a lot to think about, but it's really about what the brand stands for. Colour plays a significant role, for example. So if you think of orange, which is friendly and cheerful, so you kind of think Nickelodeon or Fanta, where blue is really showing strength, reliability and trust, a bit like Dell, Pfizer or even American Express. Considering things like sizing and fonts and positioning is also really important because you've got to go across multiple marketing collaterals like websites, business cards and brochures. So it's just so important that business should also look to refresh their business. An out-of-date logo can make somebody look entirely old-fashioned or just really not up with it. And so then they can often go to their competitors because they look like they're trailing behind.
Yeah, OK, so as a business owner, how do you know when you've got your logo right?
Yeah, great question. The best way, I think, is just really ask your clients and customers. You'll be amazed at the sorts of things that they tell you. And you just simply got to ask. You know, Snap has undertaken a lot of changes of logos. We're over 100 years old, and we've always wanted to make sure that we showcase what we're trying to do for our clients. Most recently, we brought the yellow colour forward because yellow really stands for optimism and warmth. And we also changed the A in the word Snap to an @ symbol because we wanted to show that we're innovative and we're up with technology, and we really want to provide products and services that will help our businesses grow.
And I reckon your Snap franchisees would see so many logos that if Julie had a problem, go and use them as a bit of a sounding board and say, oh, what do you think of this? And they'd have lots of experience.
Absolutely. I mean, we do everything from landscapers, plumbers to financial advisors. So right across the board. And we know what works, and particularly what works technically, which is a really important part of designing your logo.
Oh, yeah. What can be mobile enabled, which print's right. A lot to think about, but a lot of help out there, Julie. Great advice from Raylene. Off you go. Time to go and design yourself a brand new logo and also send it in to us. Send it in to Raylene and I. We would love to see the final result. And don't forget that if you want to ask Kochie, send your video into kbb@pinstripemedia.com.au. Next week, a couple of mums find out why it pays to spend on marketing to build sales. See you next week for more Kochie's Business Builders.